And welcome back to the 2019 Cannabis Industry Summit. Joining us now is Jeffrey Gunsberg, co-founder of Dietz Connect. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah.
So,
happy to be here.
We got a lot of people who are going to be watching this who don't even know anything about your industry as it is. Give us a little education on your industry.
Sure, yeah. Title insurance is, we're now participating in the cannabis industry, but, title insurance is a function of the real estate industry, and we have, put ourselves in a place where we're insuring a good amount of commercial transactions, and we provide insurance for anybody who's buying a building, a house, selling, refinancing, what have you. And at this particular point in time, we're at a place to kind of exceed about $1 billion in commercial transactions,
Crazy,
which
right?
is great.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and the cannabis industry is kind of pushing that to the next level, which is amazing.
So tell me, how long have you been at it? Did this growth happen quickly, or did a light bulb go on and something new happened? How'd you get that growth?
Not quickly. It's kind of funny. It's like I had this conversation with somebody about an actor that all of a sudden comes on the scene, and somebody comes to you and says, "Man, you're just out there, you just made it." Like all of a sudden out of nowhere, right?
Right.
Didn't happen that way.
Go back and see all those roles. That first commercial,
Right.
and the second actor back here, they got the background. All of a sudden you break through.
Right. So it didn't happen that way. So I've been doing title insurance since 2000, 2004. We started Dietz Connect, and ever since that point, we've been kind of inching our way along, and sales is one of my things that I do, business development, and we've grown from 3 or 4 people from 2004 to about 40 or so employees and 8 offices, and just slowly been kind of getting a foothold. So
does your success go with the success of the real estate market? Like if the real estate market's hot, your business is better, or?
Absolutely, but you can also find your niche. As we all know, 2010 hits, and all of a sudden things kind of fall off.
Kinda.
Slightly. So we, but at that point, then we kind of found ourselves another niche where, in the short sale market at that particular point in time, we were doing more transactions at that point. If I was to tell you that our fees were 20% of the sale of a house at that point in time, it'll never happen again. We were making $1,000, which is not a ton of money by any means, on a $5,000 house that's being sold.
Right.
And we were doing more units at that particular point in time too. It's just kind of trying to find yourself a niche, and the main thing is to get diversified and have yourself in as many boxes as you possibly can in that market. And we've diversified ourselves pretty good to be at least as limber as we can, and quote unquote recession proof as we can, but that's it's difficult. So I say it's good. It's good now.
It's good now. We're happy today. We're happy today. The cannabis industry has come to Michigan first with the medical side, now with the recreational side. How does that impact a company like yours?
So there are only a certain number of underwriters at this point, 2 that I know of, that are allowing agents to participate in that business. And my underwriter currently now is allowing us to handle the funds. We have a bank that's able to handle those too, and I don't know of another title company at this point in time who's able to do that. After this event, I think that'll be more publicized, and that'll change over time. But it's definitely impacted our business, and it's increased it. But at the same time, it's still a real estate transaction, right? So business-wise, we handle it in the same manner, and our job is to provide service and get things done, and deal with it, whether it's business that nobody else can do and I can do. I don't take it for granted and say, you know what, I'm in a position where I can handle something, make more money, charge more fees because nobody else can do it, and that slacks on our service. It's the same thing to us, and I look at it as an opportunity for me to be able to grow and get ingrained with other companies that, some of them are in cannabis and they're in it for, that's their main focus. Or, there's some guys that are just getting into it to, dabble a little bit, but they have other business that I might not have, and I can earn that as well.
what is the difference as it pertains to regulation? Is that really where it hits home? Because there's all these, I don't know if there's threats of, law enforcement coming in or so, I don't know, but it just seems like
there's not threats like that. It is, however, not as, it's obviously more mainstream now at this particular point, but everybody on the title insurance side does not have an appetite for it, obviously. So we've set ourselves up in a place to protect ourselves. We've created a separate escrow company that handles those funds so that I don't jeopardize our main business. So Title Connect is the name of my company. Dietz Connect is an escrow company that we've set up because who knows where the government goes. If they come in and say, listen, we're freezing your accounts, this guy did something, but even if we're not in a position to do something that we shouldn't be doing, but if somebody else does and they say, listen, you know what, this is in question and we're shutting it all down on that side, I don't want to be in a position where my main focus and my main business is in jeopardy. So we've done that, but I think we feel pretty comfortable.
You see in Colorado, all the money's flowing around and they don't even want to put it in the banks because they don't know if the federal government's going to overrule the state somehow and the money's going to disappear. So you have to be smart about it.
You got to be cautious and you got to be smart. And it's interesting because what happened there was some TV shows about it, and you would watch in Colorado what went on. And when I was, on the panel, I was kind of talking about it. Like, I think the main education piece is to look at other states and the progression and what occurred there.
Right.
We're in the infancy, right, at the beginning, and you got to, I think it's very telltale to look back and see, what happened in those states. What was the timeline? How did they do things? What, were the, who got in trouble?
Right.
Who didn't? Kind of a thing for us. You got to make sure you're protected. But here, the speed in which the money, the acceptance of cannabis money and deposits has been, been allowed is at a much faster rate than anything that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
There's 3-4 institutions that are doing that now, and I think it's moving in the direction it should. This is, to me, something that is a no-brainer. This industry, in my mind.
Did you see that story? There's a bank that started working with people in the cannabis industry, and the bank's worth or value had 100 times back.
Yes.
I mean, that's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity,
right?
And some of these particular financial institutions are at a place where it's like, okay, you have all these deposits. Deposits directly correlate to lending money.
Right.
So I've had conversations where they say, listen, we got a loan. We can't just take in all this money and then just let it sit there and not
do anything.
So they're really working on how to figure that out. I think there's one or two maybe at this point that are there, but so we'll see where that goes.
So what's your advice to people out there who are going into the industry? What would you say is the
ask questions. Ask questions. Talk to people who do it. When I was offered the opportunity to sit here and be the title expert, quote unquote, I don't take that term lightly. Yes, I've done this forever. I feel like I'm a title expert in my business and what I do, and I don't feel like the cannabis business is that much different from me, so I can speak on that in a knowledgeable way, but. Ask questions. Talk to people who do it. Talk to, anyone who's involved in it. Look at other states. Look how the progression has gone, and educate yourself as best you can to make sure you protect yourself. Sometimes people get blind by the money that can be made in the situation, and for us, we want to charge fair fees. There's other companies out there, not title companies, but other escrow companies that are charging a hell of a lot more than we're charging. But we're charging a fair fee. I think it's a fair fee, and you got it. I just wouldn't feel right about gouging.
Right. It's like the hurricane comes through. I'm selling generators. So
right,
you'd rather build a business.
I want to do it the right way and create relationships with people like I have in my business before cannabis came along.
Right. So. All right. Jeffrey Gunsberg, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll be right back with more of the 2019 Cannabis Industry Summit. Stay with us.